The Baltimore Ravens, the LA Chargers, Ravens, Chargers, a rematch, Wild Card weekend, 4 versus 5, Lamar Jackson versus Phillip Rivers, a great defense versus a great offense. The question is, who is better? It's Mitch of TheBottomLineView here to answer that exact question. If you're new to the Bottom Line View and this series, we take a look at every position and evaluate both teams' talent. Then I come to a decision by tallying the score. This is not a prediction of who will win. We have other videos for that. This is purely judging talent on each team. Before I dive into the depth charts, subscribe to the Bottom Line View for more NFL vids like this, and Gronk spike the like button. Also, let me know in the comments below, who do you think is the better team? The Ravens or the Chargers? Is this the year for Phillip Rivers? Or will the rookie sensation Lamar Jackson upset the Chargers once again? Let's start it off with that position. Rivers versus Lamar Jackson. And this clearly does go to the veteran Phillip Rivers. Rivers this season was a MVP candidate. 4,308 yards, 32 touchdowns, and a 105 passer rating. Lamar Jackson has been unique, different, and exciting for the Baltimore Ravens. It's been way better to watch Lamar Jackson's offense than Joe Flacco's. Lamar Jackson does have 695 rushing yards and 5 rushing touchdowns, but as a complete quarterback, as a single caller, and as a leader, Phillip Rivers takes this category for the Chargers. At the running back position, I have to go with Melvin Gordon and the LA Chargers stable of running backs. And it all starts with Melvin Gordon. His size, his speed, his power combination is really difficult for a lot of defenses to handle. He's definitely a top 10 running back in the NFL. 885 yards, 5.1 yards per carry, 10 touchdowns, and 50 catches through the air this season. Melvin Gordon has developed into an all-around running back. And like I said, one of the best in the game. Austin Eckler is a really good complement to Melvin Gordon. He's smaller, but he's shiftier and tough for linebackers to handle in space. He's also great in the passing game. And we've seen that the rookie Jackson can come in and replace Melvin Gordon when he is banged up. Gus Edwards, on the other side of things for the Ravens, is a big running back who has really developed a nice chemistry with Lamar Jackson and all the different type of running plays they do with these two as a tandem. Gus Edwards is awesome for Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson is speedy. He can get to the edge and make people miss that way, but Gus Edwards is big and powerful and strong and tough to take down. 718 yards, 5.2 yards per carry, and 2 touchdowns. And this guy only really started halfway through the season. Kenneth Dixon is a nice guy as well to complement Gus Edwards. He's a little bit better in the pass catching department. He's also a little bit faster, a little bit smaller, but he has more explosion and more speed. At the wide receiver position, I'm also going with the LA Chargers. It all starts with Keenan Allen for the LA Chargers. Keenan Allen is one of the elite route runners in the NFL, and he's one of the toughest wide receivers in the NFL. 97 receptions, 1,196 yards, and 6 touchdowns. By far the most productive receiver for both teams. You throw in a Mike Williams with Keenan Allen, totally different type of receivers. Keenan Allen, quick, shifty, great route runner. Mike Williams, big, almost a power forward type of body at wide receiver. 10 touchdowns on the season and a great red zone threat for Phillip Rivers. Tyrell Williams and Travis Benjamin give a more downfield threat for the Chargers at wide receiver. You look at the Ravens and they don't have a bad receiver core. They have Michael Crabtree, Willie Snead, and John Brown. John Brown leading the team in yardage and touchdowns. Willie Snead leading them in receptions. Overall, though, the Ravens don't throw the ball enough, and I don't think their receivers are nearly as talented as those of the Chargers. At the tight end position, it all comes down to whether Hunter Henry actually suits up or not. We don't know if Hunter Henry's actually going to play. He's been practicing all week. If you're Stephen A. Smith, you think he's been in the lineup the whole time. But for me, looking at this, I like Mark Andrews as the tight end for the Baltimore Ravens. I liked him before the draft. I like him now as a rookie tight end for the Ravens. 552 yards, 34 receptions, and he has a knack for the big play for the Ravens and has chemistry with Lamar Jackson. I think if it came down to Hunter Henry not playing, I would slightly side with the Ravens here over an old Antonio Gates, but I'm going to give it to the Chargers just because I hope Hunter Henry plays for the first time this year. Along the offensive line, I'm going with Baltimore to win their first category here. Baltimore has a solid offensive line on both fronts in the pass and running game. They're specifically very big and powerful at pushing people back in the run game. You look at Stanley at tackle, Brown at tackle. These two guys are huge human beings and excellent run blockers. Marshall Yonda is still one of the best guards in the game. While the Chargers' offensive line is improved from years past, I look at Okung, Pouncey, those are their two big names. Their guard play has really let us down this season. Their guards, specifically in pass protection, are not the best, and that's why I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens as a more well-rounded group along the offensive line. The big boys in the middle of the defense. Pierce, Williams, Urban for the Ravens are an elite unit against the run, and that's why I'm going with the Ravens in the interior defensive line. Pierce ranks 6th overall for the Pro Football Focus interior defensive lineman grade. Williams is an absolute beast in the middle at stopping the run, and he is one of the game's best in that category. This combination allows the Ravens to do so much with their secondary because these two guys by themselves can take away the inside run, and that's so important to an NFL defense nowadays. Urban's also a nice rotation player in the mix. Well, you look at the Chargers, and they've never been good against the run the last couple of years. They're not really this year. They don't get pushed around, but they're certainly not elite in this category. I'm going with the Ravens. At the edge position, the Chargers are one of the best in the NFL. They constantly get pressure on quarterbacks by only sending 4 at the quarterback. Melvin Ingram, Joey Bosa, a great combination of pass rushers, and Joey Bosa, he's back, he's healthy, he's disruptive, and that combination has been really impressive since Joey Bosa has been back. I also like their depth. They have more than in years past. I like the addition of the rookie Nwosu, who does play on the edge at times, also playing linebacker at other times. When you look at the Ravens, Terrell Suggs is their staple, and he's still a good player. He's not what he used to be, but he's still solid. Smith, Judon are their main pass rushers. Smith has been really good in getting after the quarterback and sacking the quarterback. Judon is also an underrated player in that regard. They have a nice trio there with Suggs, Smith, and Judon, but I like the combination of Bosa and Ingram all day for the Chargers to take this edge category. At the linebacker position, we see some carryover here for the Chargers because they really only play one linebacker, and then they mix in Nwosu a little bit because they've had a ton of injuries at this position. A couple of their starters that usually play here are injured, on injured reserve, and aren't coming back. Emmanuel is now their starter. He's okay. He's not great. He's athletic. He can make tackles in space, but he's not the most experienced at this position, and he's definitely not the best. When you look at the Ravens, they have CJ Mosley. He is one of the best at this position. He makes plays. He makes game-winning interceptions to go to the playoffs type of plays. So overall, I'm going with the Ravens here. They also have better depth and more depth in general, as the Chargers are very weak and very limited at the linebacker position. At cornerback, I am siding with the LA Chargers. When you look at it, Casey Hayward, he's been an elite corner since getting to the Chargers, ranked 16th by Pro Football Focus this season. Desmond King has been a huge shocker for the Chargers. He was decent last year, an underrated player last year, but overall this year taking a huge step, 4th ranked by Pro Football Focus, and one of the best slot corners in the game in man-to-man coverage. They also play Davis, they play Williams. Chargers have that capability in the modern NFL of matching up against a lot of teams with a lot of receivers. Their corner play allows them to play the certain style of fast defense that they want to play, and that's why I side with the Chargers. Even though the secondary for the Ravens has been superb, don't get me wrong, I like Marlon Humphrey, I like Jimmy Smith. Brandon Carr has been a lot better than his Dallas days. I think that the Ravens have a better scheme overall. The Chargers are more relied upon just by pure talent, while the Ravens, they use a lot of confusion to get after quarterbacks. They use a lot of different type of looks and schemes to confuse quarterbacks, which also helps their secondary, but takes away from the true talent of the corner. At safety, I am siding with the Ravens. I think a lot of the flexibility, versatility, and ability for the Ravens has been at safety. Eric Weddle is still one of the best in the game, and Jefferson is also one of the best in the game. And this creates a great tandem of leadership in the back end, also experience and awareness. These two guys are two of the most aware safeties in the NFL. They're both excellent tacklers and pretty good in coverage as well. Eric Weddle is still great in that regard. You look at Derwin James on the Chargers side, and a lot of people are going to argue that he's been better than both Weddle and Jefferson, and that's fine. And I do like Phillips and Adai, but overall, Ravens, to me, the ability why their defense is so highly ranked is because of their experience, their awareness, and their smarts from their safety position, and also the flexibility to use those guys in different roles in different positions. So I'm going with the Ravens because that's their core tandem on defense that I really love. At the kicker position, Justin Tucker, there's no doubt about it. He's the best kicker in the game. He did go 35 for 39, which is considered poor by career standards for Justin Tucker. Michael Badgley is not a bad kicker, 15 for 16 this year, and it looks like the Chargers have finally found their kicker. I'm not going to put that against the Chargers, but Justin Tucker is arguably the best of all time, and I have to give him the nod here, especially in a clutch kick situation. The other thing about Justin Tucker is they try and attempt kicks that other kickers would simply never try. So that's something to give to Baltimore, is definitely the kicking. Special teams wise, you also have to go with Baltimore because John Harbaugh is a special teams mastermind. That is the reason he's the head coach of the Ravens. He was a special teams coach. That's his thing. So Baltimore is always really good at special teams. They're always really good in kick coverage. They always have great kickers, great punters. They always have good returners. Cyrus Jones is a pretty good returner for them right now as a punt returner. And also, you look at the Chargers, and they always seem to have errors and just stupid plays and bad kicks and bad punts and block kicks and block punts. So overall, Baltimore may have the edge here, and it's definitely going to help that they play at home. Then you go to the head coach category, and I also have to side with the Ravens. The Ravens have the head coach advantage because of the experience of John Harbaugh. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's beaten the Patriots, which not a lot of people can say, and he's consistently great in the playoffs. There's not many times you see Baltimore just straight up have a terrible game plan in the playoffs. They always make it close. They always play competitive. They always play well. So John Harbaugh is the better head coach in my opinion, and Baltimore is overall the more talented team in this matchup, winning 7-6 over the LA Chargers here. I think that the Baltimore Ravens are the more talented team. Will they win the game is the question. Let me know in the comment section below. It's Mitch of the Bottom Line View. Thanks for watching, and peace out.